special and definitely something that I'll never forget. The first 50k until Le Chapieux was not so good, having a few problems with my leg. Yeah, to cross the finish line of UTMB in third place, running up the finishing chute with my daughter Sienna was, again, something that I dreamed about. For it to happen this year at UTMB was just, so special and definitely something that I'll never forget. The first 50k until Le Chapieux was, not so good, having a few problems with my leg. Yeah, to cross the finish line of UTMB in third place, running up the finishing chute with my daughter Sienna was, again, something that I dreamed about. For it to happen this year at UTMB was just, so special and definitely something that I'll never forget. The first 50k until Le Chapieux was, not so good, having a few problems with my leg. Yeah, to cross the finish line of UTMB in third place, running up the finishing chute with my daughter Sienna was, again, something that I dreamed about. For it to happen this year at UTMB was just, so special and definitely something that I'll never forget. The first 50k until Le Chapieux was, not so good, having a few problems with my leg. Yeah, to cross the finish line of UTMB in third place, running up the finishing chute with my daughter Sienna was, again, something that I dreamed about. For it to happen this year at UTMB was just, so special and definitely something that I'll never forget. The first 50k until Le Chapieux was, not so good, having a few problems with my leg. Yeah, to cross the finish line of UTMB in third place, running up the finishing chute with my daughter Sienna was, again, something that I dreamed about. For it to happen this year at UTMB was just, so special and definitely something that I'll never forget. The first 50k until Le Chapieux was, not so good, having a few problems with my leg. Yeah, to cross the finish line of UTMB in third place, running up the finishing chute with my daughter Sienna was, again, something that I dreamed about. For it to happen this year at UTMB was just,
Hello everyone. I'm Michael McLean. Welcome to this special Go Live session brought to you by Sportliciousmalaysia in combination with BV Sports. We'll be here today with several BV Sports elite ambassadors from both international and the Asia region. So prepare your questions and get ready for a great session to get to know the athletes more in depth. Today's attendees will have Scotty Hawker, Kent Wee, Rhino Erwan, Guillaume from BV Sports, Chris from Asia Trail Masters, Ismail from Polari Denai, and myself. I will be your moderator. It's going to be, a great session, and I'm ready to do this Go Live where you'll get to know your athletes more in depth, and you'll get to hear more about the great brands of BV Sports. We'll also get to hear more from some additional UTMB competitors. So hope you enjoy. Have all your questions ready. And if we don't get to answer them here, they will all be answered. So we will kick off our first session today, Session with the Stars. On air, we will have Scotty Hawker and Kent Wee. Hey, Kent. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. How are you, Scotty?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today, both you guys. I guess we'll start off. We'll let you guys introduce yourself briefly, and then I've got a few questions here that your fans would probably like to know some answers on. So if you want to start us off, Scotty.
Yeah, cool. Hey everyone, I'm Scotty Hawker from New Zealand. So yeah, it's nighttime here now, but yeah, it's good to be here. I'm a professional trail runner for Team Beaveram and also obviously BV Sport. And yeah, stoked to be on here and chat to you guys about some stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, Scotty. Ken?
Hey guys, yeah, my name is Kent, and I was born in California, and came out to Asia in 2011. And I'm currently sponsored by BV Sports as well as Naked Sports Innovations.
Okay, well, welcome. So the first question, I guess we'll just do these questions in one question, give you guys both a chance to answer, and then we'll go from there. The first question, is there anything the fans don't know about yourself?
Who do you want to go first?
Yeah, give her, Scotty.
I don't know. Probably not many people know. Twice in the last 8 to 10 years, I've weighed nearly 90 kilograms.
Wow.
Not now, not now. In the past, yeah.
Hey, you probably have to double yourself to weigh 90 now, Scotty.
Yeah, not far off, man. Not far off.
And Kent, same question. Are there anything fans don't know about yourself?
Well, I was born and raised in California. I think a lot of people know that, but I didn't actually leave the country until I was 26. So I did my first trip to South America, and like within a year, I basically fell in love with traveling, and I've been back to the States once in the past 8 years.
Excellent. All right. Yeah, we'll start with you this time, Kent. Any new physical activities that you've taken up during this quarantine period?
Yeah, I actually ordered a bike roller, and it's one of those where you actually have to balance. So that came and was delivered to my door. So I was really stoked because during the MCO, movement control order, you're not actually able to exercise outside. So I just kind of put that on my balcony and just ride.
Okay, well, I don't see in any casts, so you obviously haven't crashed. Any near misses?
No, I mean, I fell a few times, definitely.
Awesome. And yeah, same question to you, Scotty. Any new physical activities? Anything else you've taken on during this period?
Not anything new. We're kind of lucky here in New Zealand at the moment. Our kind of lockdowns not quite as strict as other countries in the world. So I've still been able to run and still been able to ride the bike. Everything has to be from home, but I've definitely been riding the bike a lot more than I have in the past. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that sort of transitions to run fitness and in the mountains once we're allowed, back in the mountains again.
Yep, right on. Thanks. All right, back to you now, Scotty, for this one. Best trick to motivate yourself when you're down, when you're kind of in the hurt locker. You need that little boost to pick yourself back up and get through whatever you're doing, whether it's a hard training session or especially during a long race.
I think for me, obviously, everyone has their own kind of like different reasons, kind of intrinsic motivating stuff and that. But for me personally, it's kind of thinking about how much like I've sacrificed to kind of do what I do, and also for my family as well, my wife and daughter. It's not just me kind of doing the training, it's, their lives, and they're committing a lot to what I'm doing when I'm out in the trails as well. So anytime I, get a little bit soft or start sulking a little bit, I just remember what's at stake and yeah, sort of pull myself up and go again. So
yeah, awesome. Definitely, I can sympathize with that. I've got 3 kids myself, so it's definitely a big motivator when you're out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, come on, Dad. Why are you going so slow today? Oh,
exactly.
One of those days.
All right, Kent, and yeah, same question to you. Any tips, tricks, or best tips and tricks to motivate yourself when you're down in the hurt locker, need that little extra boost?
Yeah, I guess racing in Asia, Southeast Asia, to be specific, it's the heat and humidity that really gets you. And when it's like at noon, 1 o'clock, and it's 37 C and 100% humidity, it's pretty brutal. So I guess what I do when I'm hurt, I kind of gravitate towards mantras, just like little short phrases that I kind of repeat. Kind of like one of my favorites have been pick them off, just trying to find someone and just kind of stay on their toes and just catch up and,
Oh, excellent. That's great. And yeah, you're even using PG language in your mantras, so that's pretty good. I'm sure not all the races. Yes, Scotty.
Hey, Mike, I have a question for you, dude. What did you do for motivation when you ran for 12 hours on a treadmill, man? Like, that is, like, I run 100 miles, man, but like 12 hours on a treadmill, like, that's ridiculous.
So it was interesting because it started at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So the afternoon wasn't too bad because the kids were out in the yard playing around. Always something to distract me. It really got tough when it got into the nighttime, and luckily, when you're on a treadmill and you're at home, things are easier. You don't have to be searching in your pack. You don't have to worry if your phone's charged, is your speaker charged. So I just went into almost full-on karaoke mode. And then I thought about the motivation of that as well. It was done for raising money for NHS charities to support doctors, nurses, other medical professionals that were, hurt by this global pandemic that's going on right now. And I thought, 12 hours on a treadmill is tough, but it's nothing compared to what they're doing day in, day out. So that was kind of my inspirations. It just kept me going.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. All right, on to the next one. If you're not doing trail running, what would you be doing? Kent?
In my free time, I really like photography. And as of recently, I've started getting into little small film projects. So I'm trying to up my videography skills, and I'm excited. Have some new gear to test out once we're able to get out and about. So there should be some cool stuff coming out.
Awesome. Looking forward to it, Kent. I've always liked your pictures and seeing them on social. The stuff you did, in Myanmar was great. That was amazing stuff. So look forward to it. And yourself, Scotty, if you weren't trail running?
So I think I'd probably kind of go back to what I was doing before trail running. I was doing a lot of whitewater kayaking. And so, I was guiding with that as well. So, I used to actually kayak, and I was in the river, almost as much as what I run now. So, I'd, in a way, kind of quite happily go back to that because I love paddling and getting on the river and stuff. But, for now, I'm pretty happy having my 2 feet on the ground and, getting up and down mountains. So,
yeah, it's a little easier to pick yourself back up if you stumble or fall on a trail than if you come out of a kayak in whitewater.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's it.
Cheers. Okay, and any specific, now this comes to where I was mentioning my karaoke and my singing, any specific music you listen to, rituals you do, things you do prior to the race to get yourself pumped up, or any little rituals or habits you have during the race that, might be interesting to the viewers out there. Scotty?
I listen to a lot of Avicii when I'm running. A lot of dance music, hard trance. It's really good in a way because it gets me like pumped up, but then sometimes it kind of has like almost too much of an effect, and like I'll start speeding up, and it's just like, whoa, easy does it, man. And I do it all the time, and it's really bad. Like when I'm supposed to be doing like an easy run, and then I'm like running along and I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, whoa, back, Scotty, this ain't easy anymore, champ. And but yeah, so definitely the music's awesome, but it's important just to be, for sure, in tune with your body and make sure that you're aware of kind of what's going on around you. Yeah,
and any specific rituals, pre-race, during race, post-race, things you must-haves, must-dos?
Post race for sure, like as much pizza, hot chips, and Coke and beer as possible. Not necessarily in that order, but definitely all of the above, man. It's time to celebrate and enjoy and embrace kind of what you've just done, and definitely time to celebrate for sure.
Well, you're definitely speaking my tune. I guess post race, I'm straight for a pizza, the cheesiest, greasiest you can find.
Exactly.
Awesome. And to yourself, Kent, any first we'll go with the music, any music rituals?
For music, I do listen to music while I'm training, and the genre would be like I like spa music or chill music, a lot of like chill hop, just really like kind of ambient noise where I can just zone out and do like, especially for like a long run, just a couple hours out in the jungle. I like it at the volume where I can kind of still hear my surroundings, but also hear the music. So it kind of just blends into this really, I don't know, really trance-like state. And for racing, I never listen to music because I find myself I like to be in the zone. And it's also, I find it imperative that you stay focused. That way you don't get lost, always looking for the markers. In terms of rituals, I do have like a pre-race ritual, which I do this like breath holding technique. And it's a good way to just warm up your lungs. I read it in a book, The Oxygen Advantage by Patrick McCowan. So he's been working with a lot of Olympic athletes, and yeah, it's a good way to warm up. Cool book.
Okay, excellent. I haven't heard of that. Might have to check it out. Thanks, Kent. Okay, now we'll go into some inspirations for you. First there, Kent, any person who inspired you to be who you are now? Or to
growing up,
better towards trail running? We can take that and kind of do things. Let's take it as someone, kind of inspired you to be the person you are, and then who's inspired you in your trail running and your pursuits of trail running.
I would say growing up, a big inspiration for me would be Bruce Lee, another fellow Chinese American. He had a strong philosophy on the process of continual growth. So I'm a really big believer in that, as well as he did a lot of combining of various disciplines. So like nutrition with performance, and that really, I guess he was ahead of his time. So he had a big influence on me as a person. But as I got into running, I would say Dean Karnazes, the guy who wrote Ultra Marathon Man. I picked up that book in 2009 and have been running since then. And since then, I've really been following Zach Bitter, he has a podcast, Human Performance Outliers. And he also has a 100-mile record for track and a 100-mile record for trail.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Some good inspirations there, Kent. Excellent. And yourself, Scotty? I guess a personal inspiration or a life inspiration, and then someone in the trail running community?
Yeah, I think probably, to be honest, I think as kind of cheesy as it sounds, man, like my mum and dad, I think from like a really young age, just like, especially with my dad, because I when I was kind of like early teenage years, I went to work with him a little bit and did some work and stuff, and just seeing how hard he was working, and just like, it's just like, you get up, you put your shoes on, you go to work, get the job done, and just always like applying yourself to whatever you're doing and just kind of ticking the right boxes and stuff. So I think kind of seeing that since a young age, it was kind of always like a case with me. And now I look back, having the experience that I've got now, it's like, you just do everything to the absolute best of your ability. Don't leave any stone unturned. And as long as you're trying to like always be the best version of yourself you can be. And again, I think I kind of look at that and it just seems normal for me because I've seen it, from day one sort of thing with what, mum and dad have been doing and stuff. So I guess kind of in a way, it's always been kind of instilled in me, just that work ethic and, getting the job done sort of thing. And then I think from like I guess maybe not specifically trail running, but definitely, just like being in the outdoors, adventuring, all that kind of stuff. My uncle, he's always been a bit of a multi-sporter, adventure racer. He got knocked off his bike about 15 years ago and suffered a brain injury with the crash and everything. And I think kind of seeing that, it's just sort of like made me realize that like every moment he's still with us. He's still kicking ass, so don't worry about that. Like I think just seeing that, and just from like him being like an incredible, phenomenal athlete, and then all of a sudden being, taken all the way down, and then just seeing how he's bounced back, it just kind of like, with regards to kind of how I've kind of grown into trail running, it's just kind of given me like just sort of more meaning behind it, and just thinking like, take every opportunity that is presented in front of you, because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring sort of thing. And so I think, like years ago when I kind of got into trail running, that was like my wife and Liz and I, that was our philosophy, like our approach was like, let's just rack up the credit card, let's book some airfares, let's go and do some races, and hey, we'll just see what happens, sort of thing. Just take the opportunity, and who knows what might happen. So yeah, I think probably those, definitely it's all family, but yeah, it's definitely what motivates me, and yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
No, that's excellent. Family's always a great motivation, especially a story like that, triumphing and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like to say hi to all the viewers out there. We got a few viewers there watching us. Got a few comments. Sherpa mentioned that the three of us would be a good advertisement for a tattoo shop. I don't think we've all gone to the same shop, but
yeah, that's the secret. If you want to run fast, you got to have ink, and who has the most ink wins.
There we go. We'll have an ink off at the end.
No nudity though. No nudity.
Yeah. PG rated. We'll keep it PG, guys. Yeah. So on to the next one now. This is probably a big one or a not big one. It just depends. Which was the most memorable race and why? I'll let you start with that, Kent.
My most memorable race was in 2018. It was actually in Scotty's backyard, Tarawera. Awesome. And it was like I did the 100K, and it's supposed to be a really fast course, great weather, but that year it had rained for like days on end, and the trail
it's New Zealand, man.
It was brutal. But it was like so scenic. It was like the most beautiful trail race I've ever been in. And yeah, that was probably my most memorable race. I think I finished around 14 hours or something like that.
Oh, awesome run, Kent.
Awesome.
And yourself, Scotty?
Yeah, I think for me, it's pretty easy, but maybe not for the reasons that you'd think. Like UTMB last year, obviously, on paper it was a nice result, but it wasn't like, yeah, the result's kind of cool, but it's kind of like what happened kind of like before that, the whole year before that. And I think just having that result, not for the result or the podium, whatever, but just like getting some belief back in myself after I'd had like an absolute, horrible 2018 season. It's pretty close to giving up the sport. And it sounds kind of dramatic, but I was literally, I was kind of done with it, sort of thing. And it was just at the point where I'd kind of, like I said before, turning over all the stones and trying to work out a way of how to kind of keep doing this and giving myself a chance and keep on going. And kind of just got to a point where it just kept on giving me beatdowns, and I was just getting my butt kicked, like just every race. It was just something that was just not going to plan. And then, it was just like, I was just questioning, whether I could even just finish a race, let alone try and be competitive or anything. And so, UTMB last year is like, the result was cool, but it was more just like the belief that I got from that, and just realizing that like, hey, I can still do this kind of thing. And I think as well, just having a race where I guess the back half of the race went pretty well, and I was just in such a happy place for like 12 hours or something. It was just such a good time out there. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. Your 18 season sounds like my 19 season. I can buy a race in the back half. So but I'll just answer this one as well, because I do have some memorable races, and I think for me it's the Namibia Four Deserts in 2018. And it was just a cool race, and it wasn't a cool race specifically because of the race. I don't know if you guys have ever done any stage racing, but stage races are really cool because the race, the best part of the race is from the time you finish until the time you start the next day. You're in a tent with a group of people, you're all around the campfire eating your dehydrated meals, which are not very scrumptious together, and telling war stories with people from all kinds of countries. So that aspect's really, really cool of a race, which you don't get in a single day event, where you kind of show up, do your thing, and then we go for our pizza, beer, and a hot shower.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right. And into the last kind of question here, and then we'll take a few questions from the audience if there's any out there. What is your attitude, if you have one, or that's kind of what is your attitude, or what's your demeanor out there? Who are you on the trail? Or are you the happy guy? Are you the grumpy guy? Are you the medium person? Or does it change throughout the race as well? Do you have stages? Kent?
I think for my first ultra, it was the North Face 50-mile championships. And, I read that book, Ultra Marathon Man, and then it just so happened that Dean was actually at the start line, just seeing us, sending us off. And it was pretty cool to give him a high five. And it was my first experience actually trying to complete a 50-miler. And before that, the longest distance I've run was 10K. So I was like, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. And I guess the mood throughout the day was everyone was just super encouraging. And it was just like, looking good. You need anything? It was just from like everyone. And it was just like, that kind of stuck with me forever. And I think in all my races, I'm trying to stay positive, but I'm also like understanding of the like back of the packers and like making sure everyone's okay. And just like, at the end of the day, we're all just trying to really finish. We're testing ourselves against the trail. And yeah, as long as we all get there safely, that's kind of like my attitude during race day.
Cool. Awesome. And yourself, Scotty?
Yeah, I think probably like early on in my career, I used to be like Mr. Serious. I was that boring guy who's like, I'm here for one reason and one reason only. No, but like seriously, I think kind of like getting into the sport and kind of like thinking that like, my purpose here is to try and win races and blah, blah, blah. It's like I just got so caught up in that element. I was like, hey, I'm actually running in the most beautiful places in the world and I'm choosing to do this and this is fun. And so, yeah, I think for like the first few years, to be honest, was just like so performance based and like, I need to be faster. I need to beat this guy. I need to try and win that race or whatever. And I think I was kind of just missing the point a little bit and was just kind of straying from the kind of the core reasons essentially why I run. And the reasons why I run aren't for podiums and races and everything else. It's like, I run because I love being in the mountains. And so I've kind of gone from being like Mr. Serious to like Mr. I'm pretty much never serious. And now it's just like, and this is something I say to like my coaching clients all the time. I'm like, it's the competition is who can have the most fun at the race. It's not who gets first or who gets second. Because like, if you get first place and it sucked the whole time, it's like the guy who got like 298th place but had the time of his life, like he's the guy that won, like straight up. And that's not just for me, it's for like every single athlete out there. And it's like, I guarantee like if you have more fun during a race, you will run faster. Like it's not rocket science, So I think, yeah, now like, and that's, I got like a nickname a few years ago from a couple of magazines. They called me like the smiling assassin. Because like every photo I've just got like the cheesiest smile you've ever seen in your life. And it's because, yeah, it's just like, just simplify, just have fun. It's like, and I think, come race day, no one's saying, hey, Scotty, like you've got to juggle 16 juggling balls and try and do it perfectly. It's like, no one's saying, hey, do something that you don't know how to do or something new or a new skill. It's like, all you have to do today is eat some food and run. That's all you need to do. It's not that complicated. And so I think just that kind of shift in mentality just takes all the pressure off, and just goes back to having like, as much fun as you possibly can. So, that's definitely my approach now. So, yeah.
Now the endorphin smile definitely helps as well when you get in those tight moments, right?
Yeah, for sure. I just saw there's just a question came through from Alessandro Sherpa. His question was, about your 2019 performance at UTMB, you were there with the top of the world. Do you think it could go even better? That means first or second place. How about the next edition? Are you going to fight for the top of the podium? Hell yeah, I am. Yeah, like I'm smiling, man, and I'm happy when I'm out there running. But holy heck, I'm out there to like fight with whoever wants to fight. Like, yeah, and I think that's the thing, like it is. Yeah, like I'm out there having fun and smiling and awesome. Everything's all happy and, rainbows and butterflies. But also, like, I love competition, and that's a part of, why I still love doing what I'm doing. And I've already, like, Pau Capel obviously won UTMB last year, needs no introduction. He's a really good mate of mine. And like, I've straight up already said to him, I'm like, dude, like the next UTMB, we're just going to swap places, man. We'll, just swap straight up. And I'm kind of joking, but we kind of both know that it's true as far as like always wanting to battle each other and always wanting to push each other. And I think it's kind of cool because there's so many athletes, I guess, at that kind of level. And it's like, we're all really good mates. We're going to have a beer and a pizza after the race, but holy heck, like during the race, it is on, like, and everyone's just, bashing heads and seeing who's going to come out on top sort of thing. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be hopefully this year. I'm really hanging out to get back there, but, whenever it happens, it'll happen. And when it does, there'll be fireworks for sure.
Yeah, cool. I'll look forward to watching that. And that is the unique thing about trail running. I think there's a few other sports like it, but trail running is one of those where you can be so fiercely competitive out on the trail. But as soon as you get across that line, it's high fives, hugs, beers, pizzas. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that.
Definitely.
Okay, well, thanks, gents. I'll just quickly run through here. I don't think there's any more questions that had came in from the audience. So thanks for this session. And now we'll bring in Guillaume. Guillaume is a representative from BV Sports France. I'll give him a chance to introduce himself once he comes in and speak about his role at BV Sports, and then take us through a few things to do with BV Sports, history, background, so some new things, some up and coming things. Hey, Guillaume, welcome.
Hey, hi, Mike. Hi, hello, everyone.
Hey, Guillaume, how you going?
Hi, Scotty, I can't. Good to see you. So, yeah.
Yes, I'll give you the floor. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. So thank you, Sportlicious Malaysia, for organizing this live. It's cool to have Kent and Scotty and you, Mike, also sharing your love for trail running. And I think that for our brand, for BV Sport, you are the best ambassadors. No, you love what you are doing. You love trail running, and you sweat it. And this is what we want at BV Sports. Yeah. Quickly, a small introduction about the brand. So we are French. We are a French brand, more than 20 years of existence, and we are coming from the medical at the beginning, and we are specialists in venous return. And you see that for trail running and for other sports, this is a very crucial and important point, because with ultra trail you need to get your muscles okay for the whole trail or the whole session of sports. Mike, you ran 12 hours yesterday on the treadmill, so I saw you had your booster on, and that's good. I saw that now you have your recovery socks as well, and these are the two main products that BV Sport is famous for. So the booster, the calf sleeve, to be used during the race or during the training. The aim of this product, of course, is to improve your performances and also to avoid injuries and to delay the fatigue, delay the time where your muscle will be tired and you will start having cramps, having heavy legs, all these bad feelings you have while running and while doing ultra trail. And this booster, like you probably know, it's that product. This is a product BV Sport has been famous for since 20 years. We are, of course, manufacturing it in France. It's a medical product. We use very technical and specific machines to build that kind of products. And why is it different from other products, and why the compression is really different, is because we have different kind of mesh. We have very flexible and very rigid mesh, and we have different locations in which the pressure will be very different, and that have a very specific effect on the muscles, and that provide you very good feelings during the race. And I don't know what Kent and Scotty, what are your feelings about the booster? When is it for you the most useful while training or even racing, or then do you also feel there is an effect while using the booster on your post-sport and recovery?
Yeah, I think for sure, man. Like it's one of those things, not all compression is created equal. And straight up, and that's
Okay.
like BB Sports stuff aside, like it's not the case, you know. Like there's obviously, you know, different brands and different products and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like it's just one of those things now. It's kind of like you know, when you're going for a run, you know, like you're getting your kit together, and it's just like it's become such a staple part of my kit now. And you know, for people that have been following me on Instagram and stuff, you'll always see me like wearing like really colorful, like the black and yellow, or the white or blue or whatever. And yeah, it's just like one of those things. Like it's like anything in life. If you kind of do something and it feels good, then keep doing it. You know, like it's kind of one of those things. You know, like if you're feeling good when you're running because you're wearing certain things or doing certain things, then keep doing that. And so for me, yeah, a lot of the runs I'm doing now, I'm obviously wearing the booster. And yeah, for recovery as well. Obviously, like for anyone training, like without good recovery, you're not going to be able to train properly the next day. You're not going to have the
Exactly.
consistency in training to be able to keep kind of doing what you're wanting to do. And so, yeah, the recovery socks for me after hard sessions, after long runs, and then also the recovery socks for me. Obviously, we travel a lot of, well, not at the moment because obviously what's going on, but yeah, normally we're catching a lot of airplanes, and so yeah, just the same thing. Like just having noticed from like wearing the recovery socks, the comfort version while I'm on flights, basically getting off the flight and just feeling like I'm just, yeah, feeling a lot better kind of post flight. And then those first couple of runs seem to be feeling a lot better from, you know, from wearing the compression on the long haul flying. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and Scotty, it's funny because I was just thinking while you were talking at the beginning, and since the first time we met a few months ago in Andorra, and since I've sent you
Yeah.
the first pairs of booster, I
Yeah.
see you all the time, even on Instagram. Each time you are running, you are using booster for the race and recovery socks for the after
Yeah.
sport. So
Yeah. All the time. Yeah. And
very happy
it's
to
one
see
of,
that.
yeah, because I didn't actually like last year, I didn't wear a lot of compression because I
Uh-huh.
just found it kind of like got to the point, especially with long races, where it just wasn't comfortable wearing like over a certain amount of time. But yeah, one thing I've found with like the booster is like they kind of feel like they're doing the job of like obviously compression, but they're not like restricting. Like
Exactly.
you don't start climbing uphill with your calf muscles feeling like they're going to explode or anything like that. It's like and like you say, I think it is because of just
Yeah.
the way that the boosters are
Yeah,
made with
it's
the
the
different.
difference between the mesh. You have a very different location, and that makes the fact that some compression socks are they will put your muscle under pressure, and that's
Yeah,
the fact that we wanted to avoid with the booster, especially the last one, the Booster Elite Evo 2. And
yeah,
yeah, really, you can run with it like 10 hours, and you won't feel like your muscle is pressurized, and
yeah.
that's the thing that trail runners
Hopefully,
are.
hopefully around 20 hours as well.
19, 19,
Yeah,
Scotty.
yeah, yeah. 19 would be good, man.
Yeah, and for the recovery socks, because at the really beginning, in fact, of BV Sport, that was the recovery socks that was designed and synced with doctors, with a specialist in venous return. And we worked since the very beginning with the pro, not only in trail running, but at the beginning with the French national football team, who won the world championship in 1998. And yeah, I think the link that the brand always had with the pro in football, in athletics, in trail, in all the different kind of sports, I think that really makes a difference, because we are pushing the products to the limits, and we are working with very demanding athletes that really need the best, and then we are providing it to all people, towards the runners, towards the football players. And I think that's really part of the DNA of BV Sports in the beginning.
Excellent. And yeah, I see there was one comment about them not being pressurized during 12 hours on a treadmill, and they're not, because I wore these yesterday. All right. Yeah, thank you, Guillaume, for the product overview, and thanks for some.
Thank you, Mike.
I think he might have just dropped out.
Can you hear me,
Cool.
Scotty? Can?
Yeah, I can. Can
Yeah?
you guys hear me okay? Yeah, I'll carry on for a second while Mike's coming back online.
I think yeah, Mike is off right now, but
We can continue.
CSX.
No, yeah, like no, like really for those of that you guys that are watching, this is like another like amazing product out of BV Sport. Like, don't look at them and think that they look crazy, they're not going to work because trust me, like I don't know if you guys can see that, but they look kind of funny when you hold them up, but then you put them on and you feel like $1 million. Like really, they're
it's
it's
called at
re-
BV Sport, we call it the magic product because when you start wearing it, you can't stop wearing it.
Yeah, it really is the case. And like I remember when I got these for the first time, I just looked at them and I thought, have I got the wrong size? Have I got the wrong size? Like, how are these going to fit me? Like, I know I'm a small guy, but hey, it's not going to happen. But yeah, like you say, man, like it's just one of those things. It's kind of like just a really nice balance of kind of compression in all the right places. You know, like it's not just one generic. Everything needs to be feeling super tight. It's like it feels really good here. It's kind of like looser here because it kind of needs to be. And I think, you know, obviously for trail and ultra running, you know, it's obviously really important to have products that are going to be comfortable, whether you're wearing compression or a backpack or a pair of running shoes or, you know, whatever you're using. It needs to be able to work for, you know, 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, 40 hours. And so, yeah, I think that's the thing with any products. And so I think that's where, yeah, obviously with the CSX shorts and, you know, the booster is, it's gear that you can kind of wear for your local 5K park run, but then you can also chuck it on for 100 miles around a big mountain or, you know, whatever the adventure you're doing. So
One
Yeah,
thing I
exactly.
noticed about the Booster Elite EV2 and the CX shorts is that the temperature control is ridiculous. I've used it in Southeast Asia where the heat is 37, humidity is like close to 100%, and it keeps you cool. And this past Christmas, I flew over to China. I was in Shanghai, and it was 0°C, and it kept you warm. And it was just like, man, it's basically great in all temperatures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the thermic aspect
definitely.
of the CSX is really impressive indeed. And
Jared,
I
I can
think
thanks.
this
second that
I'm
for
back now.
Mike.
recovery for flights. Yeah, definitely. Usually my legs swell up once I have them on. Once you get off the plane, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Not
Like
stiff.
where you can't, for instance, before using BV Sports, did you have heavy legs feeling sometimes while traveling or after a big trail or sport sessions?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. My legs would always swell up, especially if the flight was over 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours. Definitely swell up. But having these on, yeah, you're ready to go.
Yeah, I can definitely vouch for that as well. Like I know like over the years, like and because it's like we travel a lot, so often like those first couple of runs post a long flight, you just had to like prep yourself mentally going like, okay, these first couple of runs are gonna suck, but it's okay, like you'll get there. Whereas now it's like, okay, you get off a long haul flight and you're like you feel like a zombie, but you kind of like my legs actually feel not too bad, you know, like I've been sitting down for the last 14 hours or longer, but you know, my legs are kind of feeling pretty good and you know that, hey, you know, chances are I'll probably have a pretty good run the next day sort of thing. So yeah, it's a big difference.
I started wearing the CSX and the Elite Booster EV2 on flights now. It's mandatory.
That's a pro tip. I like
So
that.
actually, CSX can also be used as a recovery product because the fact that the targeted pressure are made on your muscles and are very targeted, they will improve your blood circulation and they will accelerate your recovery and they will help you to have a better venous return. And that the venous return is always something that has been underestimated, no? But it's so important, especially for guys like you or even like me who are training a lot and racing a lot. It's very important. And
as soon as you put it on, you feel the difference. Like if you try to like the market has a few different companies, but as soon as you put the BB Sports compression on, you immediately it's like a medical product. It's advanced technology.
Yeah. The main point I think, and I'm sure of it, is that we are using targeted compression. maybe other brands are using other technologies, but we are really thinking that target the compression and use different meshes to have different actions on the muscles. This is the key to have a very good, a very high and a very effective result and performances on your body, on your muscles.
There's actually 4 different types of mesh, right?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
So from extra rigid, flexible, and extra flexible. So that gives you a very technique and very specific combination, providing the best performances. And we are always working on improving the product and getting the feedbacks of you, of our pro athletes to work on it. And we are lucky because we have everything in France. So the factory is in France, the development and research center is in the same place. We are a small brand, but we are really working on the same, everything is on the same place. So it's so easy to make new development and to always improve the products and to have the feedbacks of the pro. It's so important to get the feedbacks of the pro, and that's why we are very sad about the cancellation about the Olympic Games, about many races this year, because we are that the way we are working and the way we are improving the product. So let's see, but we are very happy in any case to have you, to have people like you, Mike, like you, Kent, and Scotty to share this technological and technological products.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's great. Thanks, Guillaume. I'm in recovery mode now, so I got my socks on.
Awesome, Mike.
And definitely help. I mean, before the boosters for me, especially, I mean, even just yesterday with the 12-hour run, I would hardly be able to move around. I would have probably been in couch mode, and now I'm moving about, chasing the kids, not as fast as normal, but.
Good fact is you can combine recovery socks with a good fresh beer. That's the best combination to have the perfect recovery. So
perfect. All right. Well, I'll say thanks to Kent and Scotty. We'll bring you guys back on later, but we'll move on to the next session here, where we'll bring in Chris from Asia Trail Masters. Thanks, Kent and Scotty. We'll bring in Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hello, guys.
How are you?
Hi, Chris.
I'm fine. It's Sunday morning in Belgium, so I had a good night of sleep. It's nice weather outside, so everything's looking good today.
Perfect. And I'll let you introduce yourself from Asia Trail Masters, and also introduce about your partnership with BV Sports, and I'll let you quickly talk about that and go through that.
Sure. I'll be concise. So, of course, I think most people already know who I am. So I'm the founder and the general manager of Asia Trail Master, the championship series that has been taking place now for more than 5 years here in Asia. And this year, we have signed an agreement with BV Sport as a partner of the ATM series, thanks to Sportliciousmalaysia, of course. And I mean, we're quite excited about that. I myself as well, because I have a relatively long history with BV Sport, because I worked with them already back in 2012 in China for the Genghis Khan Festival in Inner Mongolia, which also has a grassland marathon. So I have a couple of years of experience with the products of BV Sport, especially also the booster and the recovery socks. Personally, I also use the recovery socks, not so much the booster, but I'm not a competitive athlete anymore, of course. And it's a great item, and I think it's a must-have for any serious athlete. So it's been great to listen to Kent and Scotty also talking, and also to you, Michael, of course. It's been great to hear you talking about the products in so much detail, because I think it really sums up the benefits of having a BV Sport, on your body, basically, as an athlete.
Excellent. Okay. So I guess the one question for me, or I guess the one thing that kind of everybody will want to know with now the BV Sports and the Asia Trail Master partnership, is there any any desire or any potential for bringing in some more elite runners from the Asia region to join BV and to join the rest of our team?
Of course, I mean, we always like to work with ambassadors for our sponsors. It also depends a little bit, of course, on the sponsors. I mean, if they send us the ambassadors, we are very happy to accommodate and, put a spotlight on them. So that's something we have been doing quite successfully, I can say, for several brands already. So I hope that apart from yourself, Michael, and Kent, there will be some other runners in Asia joining, hopefully a lot of races still this year. If not this year, it will be next year, of course. But yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I think ambassadors is a very good way to promote also products, as you guys are proving this morning or this afternoon in Malaysia then.
Yeah, no, excellent, Chris. And yeah, it'll be great to see the BV flag flying alongside the Asia Trail Masters flag. So, all right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Chris, Guillaume.
Sure, welcome.
We'll move on to the next session here. We're going to do some UTMB highlights. I'm going to bring Scotty back on, and I'm also going to bring Reno on air. And they're going to come on. Hey, Scotty, welcome back.
Yo, how's it going?
Good. And we'll bring on Reno. Hi, Reno. Welcome.
Hi, Mike. Thank you for
How are you?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Hey, Reno, how you going?
Hey, Scotty. Nice to meet
What's
you.
up? Yeah, you too, bro.
Yeah, not much, man. Not much.
Yeah. So I'll let you give a quick introduction of yourself, Reno, and let the viewers know who you are and you kind of a brief history of your trail running.
Brief history. Started running for trail in 2012. With a small community called Trailblazer at that time. So we come up with this idea where we invite all those runners, road runners, to come and join our activity. Until now, we get a few hundred of members. I'm born in KL, raised in KL, and working in KL. Ever since then, I joined the trail running until today. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And then I'll also bring in another member to join us here for a bit of a discussion. I'll bring in Ismail from Polari Denai. Hey, Ismail, let's give us a quick introduction.
Hi, okay, my name is Ismail. I'm from KL. So we have this Facebook page called Polari Denai, which means trail runner in Malay. So I would like to say hi, shout out to all you guys over there, like Reno,
Hey,
Mike, and also Scotty. How are you?
Hey, dude, how's it going?
Wow, great. Congratulations, man. I mean, felt like UTMB is like yesterday.
Yeah.
So
We were
I guess while
overwhelmed by... Sorry?
Go ahead, Ismail. Go ahead.
So we were overwhelmed by watching the finishing line, especially when Scotty finished third.
Yeah, I think speaking of that finish line, what was your experience on the finish line, Reno, in 2017? How did it feel to cross the line? What was that final moments? What was that step running down the chutes into Chamonix like?
Well, it's a mental race, actually. The second half of the race, throughout the finish line. Don't get discouraged when you're running. I mean, just proceed, because all the volunteers and supporters in the UTMB is so great, and that they keep the runners very well taken off. That you just need to run to your finish line. Yeah, I feel so blessed that I finished that race in 2017. It was cool weather at that time. I had
Was that the year that we had all the snow?
Yeah, blizzard snow, some
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Yeah, so I did not finish. Though I overslept 20 minutes at Anova station. Yeah, I thought I'm not gonna finish it, but yeah, praise the Lord, I did finish. So
Good job, man. Good
thanks,
job.
thanks, Scotty. Yeah.
That's what they say about UTMB. It doesn't. The race doesn't start till after Champagne Lacs.
Right.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Yeah.
All right. You have any questions from you, Reno, to Scotty?
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, yes. I think a few one. So Scotty, in 30 days before your UTMB race, what mileage, numbers of hours, and meters of elevation gain that have you completed before the race?
Yeah, like my training last year before UTMB, it wasn't as much as what people would probably think. I was averaging pretty much bang on 50 miles a week. So it's about 80 kilometers, 85 kilometers a week. Within that 85K, there'd normally be probably anywhere from, I guess, 4,000 to maybe 5,500 meters of climbing. And so, yeah, I was just basically last year was kind of like I said earlier, like 2018 was just like a complete train wreck. The season was just a big disaster. And so 2019 was just kind of about rebuilding and just kind of like really easing into the training again. And so that's why I was doing such low volume and such low mileage. And so, yeah, so it was just a case of staying healthy and, you know, making sure the body was feeling good and, you know, just making sure that I got to the start line, you know, feeling good and with no injuries and stuff. So, yeah, it was a lot lower mileage. And some people kind of got a bit surprised when it kind of came out in a couple of magazine articles that I was only doing like 80K a week. But it is true. And it just sort of shows you that if you do put that quality into your training, you don't have to be out there for, you know, 100 miles a week or longer, you know, like you can get quality in a, you know, much shorter period of time. So,
yeah, the untold story. Okay. Second one, did you do any cross training in your training?
yeah, so last year was the first year that I actually took my bike over to Europe with us. So yeah, normally we spend basically sort of 5 or 6 months in Europe each year, and then the other kind of part of the year we spend between New Zealand and Australia. And so last year I decided that I wanted to take my bike with me. I had been doing a bit of cross training in New Zealand before we left for Europe, and I thought I kind of wanted to continue that. So so we traveled with the three of us, our daughter Sienna, and the baby car seat, the hiking carrier, the bike, like you name it, like we had it. So it was pretty difficult getting through the airport, but it enabled me to, you know, ride the bike a lot last year, and I think that was a big part of the reason why the body was kind of feeling the best it had felt in years, to be honest. Was just by adding in that cross training and able to kind of bump up my kind of like overall weekly mileage by doing some stuff on the bike. So so I was running, you know, anywhere from sort of 85K a week, but then I was often doing kind of the same amount of distance, if not maybe a little bit more on the bike. And so it just became a really useful tool that I was able to use to kind of get some conditioning into the legs and obviously get a reasonable cardio workout. And also last year, the 2 months build up to UTMB, we basically were staying in a place in France called Tignes, which is at 2,100 meters. And so all the running I was doing, all the pizzas I was eating, all the beer I was drinking, it was all done at 2,000 meters altitude or higher. So it was just a really good sort of place to be based, and it meant that I got some good training in as well.
I see. Wish I could join you last year.
Yeah, it's a good spot, man. Put it on the list.
Yeah. Well, okay, the last one. Is there any nutrition that you take for your strategy in your running career?
Yeah, so that it changed a lot last year. So a lot of the problems I was having in 2018 were like nutrition related, kind of like race day kind of stuff, not quite going very well. And so the beginning of 2019 at the Hong Kong 100, I basically tried a completely kind of new nutrition plan. We made like little sushi rice balls about the size of a golf ball.
The solid one, right?
Yeah, and we used like mashed potato, like in tiny little sort of balls and just in like little snap lock bags, so I could take it with me and eat it while I was running. Mm-hmm. And so by basically incorporating more solid food into my kind of like nutrition plan for race day, Yeah, it just kind of meant that my stomach was a lot happier. I wasn't having so much nausea during the race. I still use gels and I still use sports drinks and stuff like that, but it's kind of like using them alongside the kind of normal food as opposed to, like using mostly kind of sports drinks and gels and then having a tiny bit of solid food on top of that. Because I think for the type of racing I'm doing, if you're going to take gels and sports drinks for like, 12, 15 or 20 hours, it's a pretty long time, and you're asking your stomach to do something, pretty tough. And so I think it just makes it pretty hard on yourself if you're just having those types of products.
So this one you had during 2019 HK100, right?
Yeah. So that was the first year, and it was crazy because it was quite hot last year at the Hong Kong 100.
That time. Yeah.
And I was worried about the sushi rice and the potatoes, and I was thinking like, I'm not going to be able to eat this. There's no way I'm going to be able to eat this. But it literally, I tried it in training, and I was just tried to stay confident, even though it was a little bit warmer than what I was thinking. And it worked really well. I just made sure that when I was eating the solid food, I was having a little bit of water to kind of like wash it down. And the plan worked really well. And I remember vividly like getting to like the 60-kilometer mark of the Hong Kong 100, and I was just like, yes, I've done it. My stomach's still feeling good, because the year before it would be like 30K into the race and my stomach would be like grumbling, going, Scotty, what have you done to us? Like just evil. Like, so it was good feelings last year, having a happy stomach. And all through last year, all the races I did, every race I had a pretty good stomach. So it was definitely changes the game when obviously you've got a stomach that's working properly.
Right. Welcome to the rice world.
Yeah, man. The rice is the secret. It's the secret. It's like pizzas are good, but rice is the secret.
Cool, man. All right.
Yeah.
I think that will be all for me.
Thanks, Reno.
Yeah, man.
Ismail, any questions from yourself or some of your social media followers to Scotty?
Yeah, sure. I have a few actually. Well, before that, I just want to say that congratulations to you, Mike, for running 12 hours.
Thanks.
That's one hell of crazy stuff. And okay, Scotty, I was just watching this YouTube movie. YouTube series called The 100 Miler. Have you watched that?
No, I haven't. No.
So it's about these three buddies from Australia. They went to UTMB last year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So basically, they have running buddies, right? For yourself, I noticed that during your recce runs, you run with Zach Miller, Paul Capel, and also Harry Jones.
Yeah.
So tell me about the recce part, because when you guys tested out the route before the race itself, right? Does that help you with your third place in UTMB?
Yeah, for sure, man. It was like I kind of said earlier, it's really cool with trail running because you like, I guess for the level that I'm at, like I get to like race against some of my best mates, and so it's really cool that we can kind of have these like shared experiences where we run a bit, we take some selfies and some video and muck around and have some fun, and it's like we're there to train, but we're there to have fun as well, So I think for me and for a lot of athletes that are fortunate enough to be able to get out to Chamonix and the Mont Blanc area before the race, it just adds to the whole experience. Like UTMB, the race itself is really, really cool and it's awesome and it's amazing, but like the whole kind of build up and like doing the the whole loop with some friends, staying the night in the refuge in the in the middle of the mountains, that whole kind of experience is really cool. And to do it with guys that I did it with last year. I did a lot of training, with obviously with Power, with Zach, Hayden Hawks, Harry Jones, obviously as well. And so, it was just really cool to be training with guys of that kind of caliber. And it was just great because, like different athletes have different strengths and weaknesses. So, like on some climbs, like I'd be hanging way out the back, like hanging on for dear life, trying to hike as hard as I can. And then, like later on, someone else might be feeling a bit more tired and maybe I'm feeling good, hopefully, and I can push it a little bit as well. So, it was a really, really cool experience last year doing that.
Yeah, because I managed to interview Harry during his run in Sabah in Malaysia, actually. So he was telling me after the race, he went racing in Sabah for
TMBT? Yeah.
Yeah. And then he told me that in during the starting line he was talking to you about the race. You guys are really ecstatic. You guys will be running together and stuff. And he did mention that your support crew. I mean, he have his own support crew, and even yourself, you have your own support crew, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
does that counted as one of your winning strategies, basically, during you at UTMB?
Yeah, for sure. Like without the support crew, like without my wife Liz and Sienna, like none of the races would have happened. Like really, like and again, it's not just about on race day. Obviously, like they obviously, they give you some food and they give you a kick up the bum when you're complaining that you're too sore and everything else. But it's all the stuff in the build up. It's all the all the meals cooking. It's all the times where I'm saying, Liz, oh Liz, can you please rub my legs? They're really sore. Like I'm tired. Training's really hard, and it's definitely like all of that kind of stuff as well. I mean, race day, like I said earlier, race day is the celebration. That's where you get to just have as much fun as you can and kind of just bring it all together and just try and make it one of those memories that you'll have. So the support crew definitely helps a lot, and from a performance standpoint as well, like because we've been doing it for quite a few years now, kind of transitions between aid stations are just super fast, and sometimes I feel really bad, especially because like UTMB, like Liz and Sienna, like Liz having like a 3-year-old daughter, like 3 o'clock in the morning and call my and I come in and like literally like 40 seconds later, I'm like, see you later, I'll see you in about 5 hours. So yeah, it's definitely the running part's probably the easy part. I'd rather run any day than have to support crew for someone, because that's it's tough work for sure, even just staying awake for that long. So
Yeah, that was pretty nice. I mean, especially when you walk with your daughter during the final arc, that was like wow.
yeah, that was it was just like I even get goosebumps now thinking about it. Like it was just it was just after the way the year before had gone, it was just like a big celebration, and was just that realization, like I finally did it. Like finally, like it just felt like it had been such a long time coming, and to be able to share that, running up this, up the finishing chute of UTMB with my daughter Sienna was just it was just incredible memories that was far better than any result, was just the fact that I got to do that with Sienna.
Okay, I just want to throw this to Reno. Reno, what do you think about support crew? Is it important during your UTMB race?
Well, for me, yes, actually, to have a support crew, physically or virtually, doesn't matter, as long that you have people that care about you during your running. Yep. As for me, I do have one support crew that follows me during my UTMB years in 2015 and 2017. Yeah. So it's how to say, okay, without her I wouldn't be finished. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Is it important? I mean, do we really need a support crew, or I just can go by myself without any support crew? I mean, for both of you guys.
Well, for
what do
a
you think?
certain race, I think you should have a support crew.
Yeah, I think like if you can, it's definitely gonna, like, not even from a performance point of view, but like just for an enjoyment point of view, because like
True.
it's just such a incredible experience to, like, for yourself, but then to like share that with other people.
Yep.
And it's like the memories that you're going to make during the race, like regardless of whether you're going to be like 12 seconds faster through an aid station, because really in the grand scheme, it doesn't matter, like that type of stuff. But just the fact that you can have this like shared experience with, whether it's with family or friends or loved ones, or even if it's just some random person that's like, hey, I'll support you for UTMB. Like, this will be awesome. Like, it's just, such a cool experience for like everyone involved. And I think that's why UTMB is just such a popular race with so many people, because it's just such an incredible experience. But also on the same token, like if you get an entry for UTMB, if you can't have a support crew, please still go and do it, because it's a kick-ass race. It is just such a cool race, and the aid stations are ridiculous. The whole event is just meticulous from start to finish. Everything is just obviously incredibly professional. So if you get the opportunity, just book some flights and go, because it is just, it's a really incredible experience. So
Isma, put your bucket list, okay, next year.
Will do, man. All right. I have a couple more questions. Okay, for both of you guys, right? I was interviewing Carrie that time. I remember that the tag for UTMB tag. How
Yeah.
long did you guys wear it? Because he was wearing it for a few months. After the race, how long did you guys wear the tag itself?
Scott, you first.
I think I had mine on for about 3 minutes before my daughter was like, "Papa, can I please have that?" So I cut it off and gave it to her. So she was pretty stoked. Yeah. And she thought it was cool for probably another 3 minutes, and then it ended up on the floor.
Cool. Mine was, I think, the maximum I can go is for 3 weeks only. Yeah. People ask me, "You're gonna be hygienic, right? You're gonna take care of yourself, right?" Yeah. So yeah. So I the wristband.
All right. Okay, I have a question for both of you guys, or all of you guys. I mean, including Mike. What are your thoughts about the rising Asian trail runners right now? Because we noticed that we have Min Q, we have a few other trail runners that are moving forward right now in trail running scenes. So, what are the future holds for the Asian trail runners?
I can go.
Anyone?
Yeah, man. Like, from what I've experienced with the Chinese dudes, man, and the girls, holy heck, they are fast.
Meow.
Yeah, like they're incredible. Like it's so cool. Like I think it's just really cool. Obviously, the trail and ultra running is like being such a global sport, having like obviously a country like China, like a powerhouse of the world as far as like population goes, and obviously they're really really good at a lot of stuff they do, sports and everything else. And so to have some Chinese athletes kind of like come into trail running, but not just like come in, they've come in and like started totally kicking butt at a lot of races. It's just awesome. Like it's just such a great experience. Now you can like look at races like whether it's UTMB or Lavaredo or Madeira or whatever, and it's like the best Chinese guys are there, the best Filipinos are there, the best Germans, the best Spaniards, the Kiwi guys there, the Aussies are there. Like it's just like everyone's just there, and it's just like, man, this is so cool. It's like the best athletes from like different countries are all just coming together for this like one sport that we all love the same. It doesn't matter what nationality you are, like we all love trail running. It doesn't matter where you come from or who you are. So it's just it's really cool to see the Asian obviously countries really starting to really push forward at some of the biggest races in the world.
Yeah, and for me, I think that the sky's the limits for the Asian trail runners, and you're starting to see some really world-class races in Asia as well. That's drawing a lot of international elites, and those international elites are being put to the test in a lot of the home turf for some of the runners, because it is a very different place to run in Asia versus running anywhere else that I've raced. So I think we're going to see a lot more emergence over the next few years of some really world-class Asian runners.
I was just going to say, man, like even 2019 and 2020, the top 5 at the Hong Kong 100 for the men, there were 4 Chinese athletes, and then I was 5th last year. And then this year there were 4 Chinese athletes, and then Jared Hazen from the US was 5th. And so it just goes to show you, like, and at that race both years, like the international field was like completely stacked. But the Chinese runners in Hong Kong are just like phenomenally quick and so strong on that kind of terrain. So it's really cool to be like racing in different countries and having like a kind of a certain type of athlete who are just like so strong on that kind of terrain. So it's an awesome challenge for sure.
And it's getting tougher by the day.
Oh yeah.
How about you, Rino?
How about me? For the Asia part? Or for our local
all
scene?
the Asian runners.
Okay.
Even in Malaysia.
Okay, for our local scene, okay. Regardless that most of us can't afford the time and money to spend weeks ahead of Chamonix to acclimatize. So the best that our local can train is throughout the elevation, gain and endurance for running for like 20 or 4 hours or 30 hours or 30 hours for our local. So yeah, there's no much race that has the same level of UTMB here in local for acclimatize condition, our condition. Yeah, that's all.
So what do you suggest if for the local they need to acclimatize and gain some elevation?
Well, we have to go out for our country. Out for our country, I mean, go to country that has a high altitude race. Yeah, that's what I suggest.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. I have one more questions. I mean, for any one of you guys, because it's almost the same thing like what Reno's talking about. It's about weather. Well, we know that the weather is at UTMB keep on changing, right? How do you guys prepare yourself to cope with those kind of weather, whether it's hot or cold? You wouldn't expect.
Scotty, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I think for me it's like kind of like you hear the saying going around a lot, like being comfortable with being uncomfortable, and like it's just such a it's a buzzword and it's kind of out there and people think it sounds really cool, but it's so true, like it's kind of one of those things, it's no point like looking out the window and going, oh, it's raining, like, oh, I don't really feel like running today, because like it could be raining on race day, and the same like with the heat and the temperature and all that kind of stuff. And I think as well, like trying to put a kind of like a positive spin on whatever you're doing and whatever environment you're training in. Like if you're training in weather that's like really wet and really cold, you can kind of say like, okay, well, hey, like my race could be really wet and really cold. Or also like if you're training like super, super hot weather or super humid weather, which is obviously a lot of the time countries in Asia are going to be super hot, super humid. It's kind of a case of like, and I've trained in hot, humid areas when I've lived in Australia as well. I'm always thinking like, if I can train and do what I'm doing here now in these conditions, imagine how awesome it is going to be on race day when it's like 20 degrees cooler and half the humidity. And so always just trying to like put a positive spin on it and just know that like what you're doing, it's not just a waste of time because it's not specifically, the same temperature, or it's not the same kind of mountains or the same type of trails or the same elevation or altitude or whatever. It's like knowing that like whatever you're doing, if you can kind of, train smart, structure your training, you can definitely get the best out of what you're doing, during the training. And then you can know that, hey, standing on the start line, you've done everything that you can kind of possibly do to get yourself in the best shape that you can be for race day. So yeah, it's important to remember that.
Excellent. Thanks, Scotty. We're going to have to cut off the questions there. And I'll bring in the rest of our panelists, and then we'll have our final thoughts and moments, and then, some inspirational words to everyone.
All right. Cool.
Welcome back, Guillaume, Chris, Kent. Just like to thank everyone for being here today. Scotty, Reno, Ismail, Guillaume, Chris, Kent, thank you guys very much. Any final words of wisdom, inspiration to the viewers before we close out?
The mountains aren't going anywhere. They'll still be there. They're still going to be there. And when we get back in those mountains, it is going to be so good. Take lots of selfies, lots of photos, and have heaps of fun.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Scott.
For now, just stay at home.
For anyone
moving.
who's dealing with long-term niggles or injuries, now is the time to get things right. You have all the time in the world for recovery, mobility, get everything right so that when we get to run again, you're good to go.
For sure.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And just like to thank everyone for participating. Really like to thank BV Sports, Sportalicious Malaysia, ATM, Polari Denai, and everybody else who joined us online. So thank you very much. Let's stay safe, stay positive, stay smiling, and stay at home so we can get out there. And as Scotty said, the mountains aren't going anywhere. They were here before us. They'll be here after us. So when we get out there, let's make the most of it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.